I think it's time we talk a little bit about the placement of the tier list for Mihara so far, what we're thinking about her, how to properly build her team compositions, what she needs, what she does not need, and overall our final impressions for now. And I say for now because we're still waiting to see if Shift Up changes anything or not. Remember that there is a few incognitos we'll talk about during this video, but for the most part we are not sure if she is fully working or not, and we don't know until Shift Up confirms. And right now, as far as I understand in Korea, on Friday and on Monday it was 2 festivities, so until Tuesday, I think until Tuesday, we're not going to be seeing any updates outside of whatever they have prepared to post on social media, right? That said, let's talk a little bit about our final verdict on Mihara and where she is on the tier list. As usual, hello the internet, welcome back to the Waifus. I'm Sefhi, your favorite gambling addict. Thank you to all my patrons for making this content possible. Love you all bastards. You can join them with the links in the description down below. And let's talk about Mihara. God damn, she looks good on the skin until you see the lobby and how much it is, right? But she looks good, she looks good. Now, a quick TLDR, if you don't want to see the whole video, this is the quick TLDR, alright? The skill priority, 7-7 on the skills, and then the burst level 4 for now. Overload the gear, you want to go elemental damage, attack, and maximum capacity. Crit and crit lines as fillers. You can completely ignore hit rate because hit rate on machine guns it's already pretty useless unless we're talking about someone like Modernia that she needs that buff, but they are already pretty accurate after the ramp up period, so you don't need hit rate almost on any situation for machine guns. That said, also for the cube, Bastion if you get enough max ammo overloaded, if not resilience for a faster reload because she is 2.5 seconds to reload, which is pretty slow, a slow girl, right? So that's it, that's like the quick TLDR. Let's actually move into the tier list and then we'll go little by little explaining more as to why these things are like that. So there is a few things that I might be moving around, for the most part bursteries, but if I go to B3s like I was saying, you see that Mihara right now it's on the T1. There are a few characters that I might be moving down, not Mihara, but for example, Maxwell, I think it's time after so long. She hasn't gotten a buff or a treasure or anything, so she might be going to the T2. Summer Sakura might be going to the T2 as well. And then, this might be a little bit of a bias, but both Rays, outside of enabling your team, for example, Wind Ray, the only reason is to buff your Asuka. And Fire Ray is to buff your fire characters, but they themselves are not that great. So those characters might be moving down, but for now they're staying here. I'll see on the next update what we're doing. That said, Mihara, a T1 character, and as you can see, a 7-7-4, and the burst says check the notes. And the reason for the burst, even though I went all in, is that sustained damage right now is weird. We cannot properly see if she's applying the chains or not, so we do not know if her burst is actually booked, working as intended, or it should be doing more damage. I am personally using her, bursting with her. As you can see, I went all in because she's waifu, so why not? If you went 7-7-7, you can't burst with her, it's fine. But if you don't have a lot of resources, you can keep her at 7-7-4 for now and just use her as an off-burst character for elemental content, for bosses for the most part. And then at the skills 1 and 2, the reasons we're keeping them at level 7 is because the increase is not that big. Here, when we talk about this 25%, at level 7 is still 20 something I believe, and same for skill 2. This 59% here, at level 7 I believe it's 51 as well. Like the increase from level 7 to 10 is not huge, it's not amazing, and it's a lot of resources. So if you don't have a lot of books right now, you can keep them at level 7 and over time take them to 10 if you want to. Of course, when it comes to the cube, there is nothing to talk about because like I was saying earlier, Bastion is gonna be better if you get lucky. For me, for example, I only got one line of ammunition right here. I'm pretty sure I did not get a single, one line of ammo, so for me personally I'm using resilience, but Bastion is gonna be better for her if you can get a couple more lines. My ammo right now sucks on her. I'm still trying to reroll, as you can see, this helmet and these boots, which is gonna be expensive, 3 rocks per reroll. Hopefully I can get both max ammo lines in there. But that said, if you get max ammo, you go Bastion. If you don't get max ammo, you can go Resilience for faster reloads. That's it about how to build her. Let's talk a little bit about her limitations and why she's lacking, the pros, the cons, right? And the biggest things with her. I think we can start with the cons. The biggest con right now is that for a 1% character, she feels weak. For a 1% banner, how expensive that is. It doesn't feel like Rapid Red Hood. And I don't think she should be like Rapid Red Hood. To me, the excuse of lore means she has to be stronger because she's strong in the lore will always be so fucking stupid. It's like, brother, this is Bob the Builder and has been the best B1 for 2 years. This is a schoolgirl and is one of the best B2s in the game. And we can apply this to so many characters that lore-wise should be strong, but they fucking suck, right? So to me, the excuse of lore-wise makes sense that it's stronger. I don't get it, but to me that 1% means she should be stronger or at least worth pulling. And right now, Mihara, outside of bosses, doesn't feel like it's that worth getting. If you don't care about raids, I cannot really recommend getting a copy of Mihara. Why would you be getting a copy if you don't care for raids? For single targets, it's fantastic, but when it comes to like actually damage on a stage with a lot of enemies, she's not gonna be performing as well, right? So that's like the first thing that I want to talk about, is that 1% feels weird, right? For a 1% matter, she feels weak. The second thing is that she's a selfish DPS. For a selfish DPS, she only gets one thing, and that is sustained damage on skill 2. On one hand, this means you can put her on any team and she will work, but she needs attack buffers, attack or attack damage, both if you can, right? But that's why you are seeing so many people putting her with leader, putting her with characters that are buffing attack, right? Giving you a lot more that she can take advantage of. If you put her with Summer Rosanna, it's not gonna be as impressive because Summer Rosanna only has damage taken and the sustained damage. So outside of attack buffs, she doesn't need anything else. That's like the only thing you need in order to put her on basically any team, plug and play, right? And then the last thing is immunity to debuffs. She doesn't work at all there. Now, this is not a con in the sense of, oh, this is so bad, this breaks her. This is one boss in the entire game. One boss. The problem is that's a precedent already for Shift Up to have the ability to add this mechanic to other bosses, meaning her value in the future might not increase but decrease, right? So that's the problem with characters like this, that we don't know if it's intended or not, because her value can go up or it can go down if they keep adding this mechanic to more bosses. Until Shift Up says anything, this is a con. And then when it comes to her pros, of course, the best one is the lobby, $50 for this lobby. It's amazing. It's fantastic, honestly. Let me buy another 50, please. Shift Up. The first proper pro, right, if you will, is that this is the first sustained damage character we are getting, like actual sustained damage dealer. So far, the sustained characters we got were not good, okay? Even Breedy is just a distribute character, not a sustain. Same for your Summer, I think it's Sakura and a few more characters. They are not great DPSs, right? But now we have finally a good DPS for sustain, and her constant damage is fantastic. So that is pretty cool. And then lastly, she can be used both burst and off burst, allowing for more flexible team compositions. But again, mentioning that she does need attack buffs. It's important to mention that, since people might think she doesn't need anything, right? It's plug and play. She can be used on any team as long as you have a proper buffer, which most people have, right? Doesn't matter what team we're talking about, your B1 or your B2 is going to be a buffer for the most part. So all in all, this is a character that is really strong. It's a fantastic DPS, but her biggest problem, of course, is that immunity to debuff that Indivilia has. It doesn't make a lot of sense to get a character you are only going to be using on raids unless she is your waifu. I know a lot of people are calling her mid. I will always disagree because her damage is fantastic, but it is true that for a 1% banner, it feels weird. I do have mixed feelings on if this should be a 1% banner or just a normal alt, like for example, The Killer Wife, like for example, Winter Ludmilla. She feels at that level. Fantastic character, but there's clearly always a better option to put, right? So it's a little bit weird. I still think if you don't have enough pulls for both characters, you should be focusing on Siren only instead of going for Mihara. And if you don't care about the raids, bosses for the most part, the bossing, and you don't like Mihara too much as a waifu for whatever reason, then you can completely skip her. It's fine. She is not a limited character, and you will be able to put her on the wishlist later down the road anyway. That's the thing that's gonna be it for this one. I don't think there's anything else that has been updated outside of the tier list, of course. Putting her on T1 and then putting Siren, of course, on that T0. The tier list will be getting some changes soon. Like I was saying, there is some characters that, since now we have a stronger meta and more defined, they might be going down. Some of the B1s with cooldown reduction, some of those B3s as well, that previously were good units T1 like Sakura, but now we have a proper sustained DPS. So some characters might be going down the next time we talk about the tier list, but for now, this is it. As usual, any feedback is welcome, boss, also leave comments down below and we can talk about it and we can rerun tests and update the stuff as needed. But that's gonna be it for this video. We're gonna be live later. Feel free to come by, say hello, have a great time. Good luck with your pool dinner dates, and see you in the next one.